Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me for another card making tutorial. This is Angie. I've been in a creative slump and been finding it a little bit hard to get my crafting mojo on. And this stamp set that I've had for a very, very long time, the Concord and Ninth Fill-in Blooms stamp set, is one that is quite simple to put together for really fantastic results. It includes a large background stamp that you sort of fill in all the elements, and it's just a really impactful design. So whenever I'm feeling in a bit of a creative slump, this is one that really gets me going. And of late, I've also been really enjoying bulk card making, cards of the same style but with different sentiments, like as in a pack of cards that coordinates well together. So that's what I've decided to do in this crafting session. I won't make you watch me stamping everything the entire way through, but basically I'm bulk manufacturing, so I'm doing all the backgrounds at once and then slowly starting to fill in each element in a different color as I go. I'm a clean as I go type crafter, which I say probably every tutorial at the moment, because when I wrap up my card making session, I do need to be ready to move on to something else. So as you can see, bulk manufacturing, I've done a bunch of backgrounds all at once using my stamping platform. Stamping platform is a absolute must-have in your craft room, because especially with a background stamp, you may need to stamp multiple times and you want to get it in exactly the right spot. And luckily I do have quite a range of inks and colours, so I was able to get a good variety of colours. I try to consider doing male and female, not too girly colours as well, so that I had a few cards to pull out for a male if needed. So now I'm coming in with the first fill-in section, which is the center bloom of the, I'd call it a hibiscus type flower. There's two full elements across the card and then some that sort of fill in from the edges to complete the design. So once I've done the florals, I come in with the leaves and I stamp them all at once. So I do the background layer, and I do that throughout the entire card. And once you've sort of oriented the stamp, you do keep it in the same orientation, because the pattern sort of doesn't rotate or anything. It's just repeated in the same orientation throughout the entire card. And then I come in with the vein sections of the leaf. Again, this is oriented in the same way throughout the entire card. So I just sort of fill those in as I go, starting at the central elements and then working my way around. Then there's this sort of like edging of the petals that go around those main hibiscus flowers, so I'm filling those in as well. So I've sort of thought they'd be lighter on the edges where they're catching more light, so I used a slightly lighter color pink for the edges of the flower petals. And then I should start filling in those little flower blooms to the top left of the main hibiscus flower. And I've chosen to do that in quite a deep pink to coordinate well with the rest of the blooms that I've already filled in. And this is very easy because you're stamping multiples at once again, so both flowers are being coloured at once. And you can just see how the stamping sort of just brings everything to life. So much colour and a really well thought out design. And bulk manufacturing, so I'm filling in those little sort of berries to the right as well. Because that's such a quick process, I thought I'd show you a few of the cards all at once. And then I decided to do just a handful of the cards with the really, really deep centers. I don't do it on all of them, but I did do it on a handful, and I kind of just chose ones that had a similar flower color, so I was just using the same ink for multiple cards and the center element. Just really brings the that depth to the center of the flower, so absolutely love it. So that about wraps up the stamping that I'm doing, and we're about to move on to the die cutting. So I'll just flick through and show you the multiple backgrounds that we've made through that stamping journey, and I'm about to pull out my dies now. I'm going to start with the two main floral elements. So one is sort of the full bouquet or sprig or whatever you want to call it, and then the other one is just the actual hibiscus type flower, and you can actually layer those one on top of the other, which is just fantastic. So I decided to use my Sizzix Big Shot machine and my magnetic platform for the die cutting of the floral elements. I really do enjoy using my magnetic platform, and with these larger dies I do find that it holds really well. So I'm just placing, yeah, as you can see, it doesn't even move, which I really like. So I definitely think that was a worthwhile investment. So I'm basically just cutting the large bouquet and the small flower all in one pass through the machine, which is quite quick and painless, and the dies do cut really cleanly. For the sake of filming, I have gone back and forth so that the cut elements are going to come out onto my desktop in front of the camera. And like I said, they cut really clean, and they're large dies, so you don't really need a pokey tool or anything fancy like that. Just gently pop it out with your fingers. And I am bulk card making in this session, as I mentioned earlier, so I will cut out a few more as I go. I won't do them all on screen, but you'll notice that I've alternated between cutting the top or bottom floral element. How I mentioned there's two main elements where you can see the full sprig, so I'll alternate cutting between the higher and the lower bunch. And you'll see later why I chose to do that, just to give a little bit of variation to the finished card product. And again, these dies pop out just so easily. So now that I've finished cutting the floral elements, I'm now moving on to the section where I'm going to be placing the sentiment, and also cutting a few of those little leaf sprigs out of colourful specialty cardstock. I'm using holographic cardstock, some recycled gold Lindor chocolate wrapper stuff that's sort of a mattish gold colour, and some vellum and some whites as well. These dies, they just cut so tidily and are easy to release. I'm also going to be cutting the slits now for where the ribbon's going to pop through that that main part where your sentiment's going on to. So I'll do one side at a time, because the die set did only come with one of the dies, so you just do one side and then the other. I do secure that down with washi tape, because the magnetic platform doesn't hold so good when the die is really tiny. And now we're pretty much done with the die cutting, so away the die cutting machine goes, and now I'm back to inking and assembling the finished card, the most exciting part. So I'm going to pull out some inks, some ink blending tool, and a scratch piece of paper to sort of protect my work surface that I can easily clean up. And I do stash mine under my cutting mat so that it stays nice and flat and I always know where it is. So I'm going to grab a pink, because I found that inking the edges of that element really coordinated things in and didn't look so stark and not well thought out. So I grabbed my ink blending tool and my Prompt Queen Simon Hurley dye inks, and I'm just gently patting off to the side before I start blending so I don't get any harsh lines, and I'm just gently coming in ever so slightly from the edges to give it a slight little bit of pink to again coordinate the focal element where the sentiment's going to go to the background of the card. Quite quick and easy. I go a little bit around the edges where the ribbon will feed through as well. I think it just looks a bit nicer. Very easy done. Just need a really light hand and light application and tidying as I go, and sort of doing a dry lay again to decide whether I'm going to be popping the main element at the top or the bottom. So I've decided on the sentiment element at the bottom and then the floral element at the top. I've gone through my stash and located 2 lots of ribbon, a silver to sort of tie in with the sprigs that I'm going to be popping in later, and then the pink, obviously, which is the main focal color of this card. And I also decide I need to pop my sentiment on at this point in time, because if the ribbon goes through first, it's going to be very difficult to stamp on this. So this is a thank you card for someone who helped me out a lot last year. So I've decided to do this one as a showering you with gratitude card. I am actually going to be popping a sentiment on the inside as well. So now that the stamping's done, I'm just placing the ribbon through and securing it. I'm going to be doing it with a bit of foam tape. This card has quite a bit of dimension, and like I said, I'm giving this to a friend who helped me out last year, so this will be a hand-delivered thank you card. So the bulk and dimension doesn't really bother me too much. I've overlapped the ribbon and the foam tape so that it's sort of twofold dimension, and second fold is that it's securing the ribbon in place. I'm just gently sort of deciding where I'm going to pop that, because once that foam tape is down, it's down, and then just wrapping the ribbon around the back, securing it in place. Now I'm going to get the card front onto a card base so that I've got a nice firm surface to work on. The ribbon's the only part that had to go around the back, so that's why I did do it on a separate card front. And once that's secured down, I can start layering up the main floral elements. While the card was drying, I had worked on setting up the foam tape on the back of the main floral element and made sure that I didn't have any where it was going to overlap with that sentiment that I've just secured down. And easy done, quickly stuck it down, all fit quite nicely. And then I've done that top floral element as well. There's just so much dimension, and I love that you can layer upon layer to really give that that interest to your card. Then I've decided to grab one of the sprigs. I chose to use the holographic cardstock. It just tends to pick up or accentuate the colours around it, so works great with warm or cool colours or whichever, but I just thought it added that little bit of wow to the card as well. So I'm just deciding where to pop that in, securing it down, and the card is coming together very nicely. All that's left to do now is to accessorize or pop some additional sparkly elements. I've decided to go with some sequins. I'd always do a dry lay first to see how the finished card is going to look, and then come in with my wax pickup stick and my Barely Art glue, and then secure the sequins down. As I mentioned earlier, this is a thank you card, and I was going to do a sentiment on the inside of the card as well. So now is the time to do that. You'll notice that I've got my stamping platform upside down in this instance, and that is because the card front is hanging out on the left hand side, and the magnets that I've got with my stamping platform hold the card into place, so I don't have to worry if I need to double or triple stamp. And the card is done. Voila, Dimension, just an absolutely fantastic finished card. And I'll go through and show you all the finished cards. The yellow one that we followed from the early beginnings, and I think the blue card was featured in a few of the step-by-step processes. And again, like, this is something you could easily do as a set of cards because it just coordinates so well, but each element is or each sentiment is individual to a specific occasion. I did try to do some cards that could be used for males if needed. So those are the sort of the browns, and I suppose even the orange and the red could work because they are that sort of deeper colour. The navy blue too. Very, very enjoyable card making session. I hope that you can get into your craft room and enjoyed the card making tutorial. Thank you. Bye.